I used my spank bank to like remember the pretty girls that I saw, because this is before you could like watch porn on the internet and stuff, right? He used his bank. He didn't have to do that. He used a spank bank to remember like golf swing and positioning. And then he finally got YouTube and could rewind it and didn't have to use a memory. Well, like obviously use the memory, but then could like just on demand. Magic.
Pat Mayo Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Underdog. If you want to play in the PME free bracket, hit the description. The link is on Underdog right now to get in to the NCAA March Madness tournament. Jeff, we did the live show on Sunday night, going through the bracket, making all the picks. That was right after Cam Young won you all the monies. I had a pretty busy weekend, but you were all over the weekend. You had everyone on that leaderboard.
I did. I did.
When was the last time that happened for you?
Like that, not a while, but for a while I thought I was scared, because Straka can just like go 8 in a row, and Bobby Mack's got a dog in him. So I was like way too paranoid for the situation. And I thought like Fitz and Cam Young would be my like bodyguards. But in the end, they were sort of the saviors of the situation. But yes, it was great to see. But Pat, we've buried the lead here. Congratulations to you. We had no cut sweat.
We almost had a cut sweat.
We almost had a cut sweat.
Were you talking? Did you have a separate conversation with Cust about us doing it or us not doing it, and the mixed signals that I was sending?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I was like, "Are we doing it? Are we doing it?" I sort of like saw two things in the messaging. I'm like, that'd be crazy if he really like wants to roll this out for the players. It's not even a major. Yes. So congrats to you. When we started, I had no kids. You had 1, and now you have 4, and I have 3.
No, that is incorrect. I had none. You had none. I have 3, and you have 3.
Oh shit! You don't count Cust?
No, I don't count Cust, unfortunately.
Okay, well, like you and your friends make his reservations and seem to like do everything for him. Sometimes it feels like he's more dependent on you than your children, but okay. Yes. So, congrats to you. Congrats to your wife. Congrats to the whole family. You didn't get any baby swag from it, but maybe a fresh set of picks this week.
I gave it to you. I gave you my baby swag with Ludwig, Cam Young, and Matt Fitzpatrick. I'm not sad. I mean, listen, if Matt Fitzpatrick had won, I would have been happy, but it was the first time all year I haven't bet him. And of course, I mean, it boiled down to exactly what he wasn't. I mean, he hit the bad drive on 18, whatever. But if he had just made a few of his putts earlier in the day, he wins that by like 4.
By 4. And I didn't look at it exactly because it would have been like just hard to look at. But as someone who bet Fitzpatrick, and he seemed like he held his line every day, played quite well, 18 destroyed him this week.
Well, they both made the double on Saturday on 18.
Oh, that was horrible. Oh my God. That sucked so much. Yes. We'll talk about it, Pat, but I would just want to say you had the kid in like, to maybe some of your most hardcore fans, the timing of your child was unfortunate because it allowed you to be here today. And whether you would have been here or not,
I would have been here.
I had some great workshopped ideas for what we would have done. Not like an actual show, because I knew you would have been there. But I'm just going to pull out this note that I had made just as a reminder.
Should we save it and maybe get Cust to host one of these episodes anyway?
He's not going to watch this.
Okay.
But it was essentially we were going to get Cust to host, like regardless. It was going to start. We would give people maybe an incredible, because Cust would have like prepared. So like anyone, he would have thought he prepared a lot, but after like 6 minutes, he would have been like drowning, I believe. So we would have wanted to like see that. And then Jared or something would have created a situation where Cust thinks like the whole shit goes fake. It like turns black. He gets blamed. You're going to be upset. And then like next thing you know, like you come in like you're Vince McMahon, like rating Nitro or something on the screen from your home studio. But there, that was all.
Oh, that's amazing. We can still make that happen with Cust.
Because Cust would have like given, he would have ran a marathon, but he would have ran it like a sprint. Like he would have come out and then like a few minutes in, we'd still have time to go and he would have nothing. I mean it. He'd have burned everything he had. So yeah, there was the chance for something great. I think I joked about this with Adam in our golf cart. Who took us to play Hunter's Run that lovely afternoon in Palm Beach. I joked about this plan like with him. I ran it by him. He's like, yeah, like the people need like Cust hosting, or at least thinking he's actually hosting, but not hosting.
Well, have you been in the room when there's been a technical difficulty with Tim and he absolutely like just panics and he gets very ornery, like very upset?
Okay, I have. And he's very uneasy and very panicked. Only a slight relief when it's like because you can like trick him into thinking he's responsible. So like there's always that like great relief he feels when he realizes it's got nothing to do with him. But at the same time, when you lost, like even how he reacted when your Twitter account was like hacked for like half a day, you would have thought like it's not a good thing. But like he was acting like in terms of like our personal correspondence, like something like way, way like worse had happened, like horrible had happened to like a close personal friend.
Yes. He didn't know if we were doing the show that night.
He felt like the amount he felt violated regarding your Twitter account. Anyways,
where do you want to start with the players? Do you want to talk about that weird stuff that was going on with Fitz after the fact, or do we just start with Cam Young? Because I have my Cam Young hot take.
We could go anywhere. There's so much to talk about. Ludwig, Morikawa. It was a long week, Pat.
Cam Young, after winning, didn't have a full range of emotions, it felt like. Very stoic individual. It didn't seem like he was overly pumped that he had won the Players' Championship. And it got me thinking, who does this remind me of? Is he just not even our generations, because we had our generation. Is he the new generation's Dustin Johnson? He's not happy. He's not sad. He just plays golf and goes home, it seems like.
Maybe that was just like a full relief, because we have seen him show I feel like we have seen him show more emotion than we sort of ever got out of DJ. No, like obviously I'm thinking about like him being a rookie in a Ryder Cup, and I'm sure if like there's Ryder Cup rookie DJ footage, you might see like more emotion in that instance than we probably ever saw out of him. I'm not going to totally dismiss it, because anyone who has like a Cam Young story, for the most part, like he is, and I'm not talking about like his close personal friends, but like, people that are in locker rooms, so to say, like he is for the most part like a pretty stoic guy. But maybe it's just a full throttle relief. I don't know, man. I'm not going to go to the DJ part, because the DJ is like so layered. It's so layered, because DJ would be off on the golf course. Well, you'd get like TikTok didn't even exist then. But you'd get these like videos of him smiling, having the most fun in like the world. And Cam goes home. He's got 3 kids already. But yes, maybe in terms of the on-course demeanor, yeah. But the justice of position with DJ was that it was like 2 totally different people between like that other DJ.
I was just thinking similar vibe on the course, similar skill set too, because if I'm thinking if one guy's going to ratchet up a drive 380 yards on the final hole of a tournament, it would be those two.
Okay. And on that note, that drive reminded me of DJ versus Spieth in a playoff at the Northern Trust, where it was these were just two different planets. Like when those guys like that go full throttle and execute the ceiling on the unbelievable. Unbelievable. And 18 was more dramatic than 17 this week by a country mile.
It always, people forget that it always is, because 18's actually hard. 17's not hard. You can make a big number on it, but generally it's not that big of a deal, guys. Because I thought that Fitz played it correctly. He ended up losing, so that sucks for him, but there was no incentive for him to take on that hole. Like being up by one in that spot, make Cam go make the hero shot. He did make the hero shot. Then he made the hero putt to pay it off, but you have to put him in that position where he can go in the water. The only thing that Fitz's only goal on 17 is just like, give me 20 feet and maybe I make a putt.
Give you 20 feet, maybe you make a putt.
And he almost did.
Yeah. I don't have, I mean, it's even like before the day and the recent history shows, it's not a fun place to be the leader at as like a bettor. You're like one every stroke you can get, but chasing is the money shot. And it's different because Lowry's was its own monster. But again, like Florida, guys with the lead, you have to make someone take it from you in Florida when you're in the final few holes with the lead.
Agreed.
We're seeing it.
And if you just don't screw up your shot, and Fitz screwed up his drive on 16 and 18, and he would hit the ball and it would be like 3 feet away from him on a drive and he'd be bending down to pick up the tee 90% of the day. He was just hitting these like low flighted through the wind straight shots. It was pretty incredible to watch, honestly. And then
it was a masterclass. And Cam Young, like truly spectacular. And that wasn't even his best. It was full Cam Young because like the par 5 performance on a Sunday was insane.
He couldn't hit a fairway on the par 5s was the issue.
Yeah.
And he finally did, and then he towed it and hooked it over into the trees. And that's the third shot he had on 16 from the fried egg lie from that bunker was actually a really good shot. After watching everyone screw up 16.
Yeah, he got that to like 40 feet. We saw Rose and Bobby Mack, right? Both hit it in the water from over there. And that's the great thing. I had watched a lot, like a lot of people, and yeah, they showed Rose do that earlier, and then Bobby Mack did it, and you're like, oh man, it was a great week. Like, it was a great week. I don't know what to say. I mean, I hit a winner, but like beyond the win, beyond like the betting, I could name like 7 great takeaways from the week or things that I remember, like as simple as seemed like that Siwoo smoke-in video when he was the twosome with Aberg got like pulled. Right, that was a slow day.
That was Joe's video, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the fine line. I love Joe, but Joe is like in the game now. You know,
it's true. He's mingling with the people, but that was a good viral video to get. Just see.
No, I would take it too, but like that sucks. Like that is, and I've been there. I say this as someone that like, worked Leafs training camp and was in the locker rooms and stuff. This is a life before, and the Twitter wasn't nearly like the thing that it was now. And like, Twitter was more used to be like, I'm going to the mall. Like, see ya. Like Larry Fitzgerald be like, I'm at Cheesecake Factory at the mall. Like that's what Twitter was. But Joe he's like got a lot of, he's in the media hut a lot now regularly. So some of those things, like it sucks. It's just part of, I think, the game that is life. And keeping your press pass, which is probably more important than the viral video. Brooks, like I'm going like beyond here, but like there are so many things that we could do 12 minutes on.
Well, we'll
so
get to
you
Brooks.
lead us because I'll go everywhere.
We're gonna get to Brooks in the Valspar part of the show.
Fair, fair.
I think that he's going to be a very popular wager this week, myself included. Think you know ball? Prove it on Underdog and bet the bracket. Build a tourney bracket for free and see if you can outlast the rest for a shot at $100,000 in prizes. If your bracket busts, don't worry. You can turn your bets into real money all tourney long with prediction markets on Underdog. Available right now in most states like California, Texas, and Florida. Head to the Underdog app and put your bets to the test. With prediction markets, you can bet on money lines, spreads, and totals throughout the tournament, all in one place in real time. New markets drop every round from the opening tip to the final buzzer. So, if you love college hoops and think you know how each round will unfold, Underdog is where you make your bets. Download the Underdog app today and use promo code MAYO to get started. Prediction markets on Underdog. Available in your state. Guys, you know what it's like when you start to get older. Working out, harder. The food that I used to eat doesn't keep me lean in the same way that it used to, and by the time the afternoon rolls around, my energy comes crashing down. That's not how we're supposed to be living in our 30s, and for me, very, very early 40s. Oftentimes, it's because many men suffer from low T levels. Doctors act like TRT is no big deal. Just weekly shots for the rest of your life. Then you dig deeper and realize what you're actually signing up for. Thousands of dollars to shut down your body's production forever. That's where Mars Men comes in. Mars Men gives you the same benefits of optimized testosterone, energy, strength, and focus without shutting your body down. No synthetics, no needles, no dependency. It's just like hitting the reset button on your hormone factory instead of shutting it down. Made in the USA and third-party tested. 90-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. Worst case, you don't absolutely love it and you get your money back. But over 91% of users report higher energy levels. Thousands of guys are feeling incredible results. Just check out the reviews on the website to see for yourself. For a limited time, my listeners get 50% off for life, plus free shipping and 3 free gifts at mengotomars.com. That's mengotomars.com for 50% off and 3 free gifts when you check out. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. I didn't get to watch a ton on Saturday. Weirdly, I got to watch a ton on Friday because we were in the hospital room. I had nothing to do because my wife and the baby were asleep, so I was just streaming the players all day long. But so my main takeaway, because I ended up betting on Fleetwood for the week. Fleetwood was there all week, and he couldn't hit a draw, which is really strange for Tommy Fleetwood. Every time he needed to cook up a draw, either off the tee or on an approach shot, he just pushed it right every single time, and it cost him so many strokes. I still think he came like T10 in the tournament. He was for a guy who was never in the tournament, he was a lot closer to being there than not, but if you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't have noticed it.
Sounds like Fleetwood, his floor is so freaking high, right?
It is. And like Xander making the run at the end. Were you sweating Xander at all before the leaders got to 17, knowing he had made that putt to post at 11?
Okay, so yes, I was sweating it, but once Fitz found the middle of the green on 17, then I was like, okay, now he has to make double on 18 for me to lose. And like, there's an easy way to avoid making double. You just plot up the right. But then when Cam makes the putt, then I'm worried they'll like both hit it in the water on 18. Because now like everyone's sort of got to be in this full go moment. So yeah, I didn't like seeing Xander do that. Xander, I don't know. I saw he was taking a lot of criticism this week from like a corner of the internet that sometimes I'm on, and a lot of it I want to agree with. His outfits are revolting, and his pace of play on Saturday was just abhorrent. Because Ludwig's fast. Too fast.
Maybe a bit too fast on Ludwig.
Yeah, and the gap between them, like they played the final 3 holes with like a 1-hole gap on Saturday. But yeah, Xander, he missed some short putts. Like I didn't think we were going to get the warning with him. I think he would just like pop and win, but it seemed like he's thrown out like a bat signal a bit. Because that Friday driving performance was just outstanding. And if he flirts with something like that this week, remember what he did on Sunday last year. I'm sure we'll talk about it. Yeah, I don't know. He's Xander. He's consistent. He's going to clip something off. It'll probably be bigger than it is smaller in terms of like prestige.
Well, this week would make actually a lot of sense, honestly, because this is a full tee to green type course where you need to be good at basically everything. I brought this up on the research show, which I did do. That is out right now if you want to go watch it. It's a bit shorter. It's only like 48 minutes or something rather than the usual hour and a half. But, I got down to the nuts and bolts of it. Didn't like what the model spit me out, so I just proclaimed it very, very poor and went my own way on a lot of things. Either way, having bet Kokrak at this tournament in the past and Corey Connors in the past, just you need to be able to chip at some point in this tournament. Although Vic did end up winning last year, so maybe you don't need to be able to chip. But it's funny because my two bigger fades last week were Ludwig and Victor, and both ended up playing really well because it was my contention that you're just not going to hit that many greens in regulation in order to carry the day. You're going to need to get it up and down eventually, and both those guys are awful around the greens. And Victor through 2 days was like the best chipper and putter in the field somehow and wasn't striking it well. And then he stopped striking it well, and then the chipping reverted back to what it normally is. And then I didn't expect Ludwig's driver to be the end of him on Sunday, honestly. I thought what ended up happening when he started leaving his chips like 18 feet short and he wasn't able to convert the putt, that's what ended up costing him in the end. Like a water ball or two, he had a big lead. He could have survived the 2 water balls. It was the decisions that he made after both of those, like just nuking balls. You could tell that the pressure got to him about midway through the round yesterday, and just everything was just even on the 13th on that par 3, he ended up almost chipping it in and making the birdie on it, tapping in for par, but no one was over that green all day except for him.
Yeah, I mean, again, he just sort of felt like he got caught in neutral early. Nothing went, so he couldn't get any momentum, and was actually, in my opinion, doing like a really good job just like holding the line. And in terms of the pressure, I'm not doubting it, but I'll tell you, the mistake is like really worse when you break it down, in the sense that in that moment when it first went to shit, there, in my opinion, if you take a deep breath, there really wasn't the pressure. I want to say both Cam and Fitz fucked up 11. They fucked it up. Fitz missed a 7-footer. Cam probably scrambles for fucking par, because that's what he's got to do on a par 5. God forbid he fucking made it easy. So now Ludwig's sitting in the fairway on 11 up 2 in like a just don't fuck it. Like you have more than a 50-50 chance with the drive he hit on 11 that you are now going to get a, not stress-free, but you're going to make like an 8-footer for birdie or the putt that Fitz just missed. And you're up 3 with 6 holes to go. So, like, if he just in that moment, and I'm not saying you know exactly what happened in front of you, but
was
it
he
might not have been easy to see, hard to see. He was so far down there.
Sure, but is he not going to take out his wood and go for the green like he has on every other par 5?
Yeah, you just can't hit it in the wall. I mean, he completely ducked hit the fucking, I think it was a 7-wood, and it had no, I mean, it was embarrassing. The only other player, Bridgman, had a similar miss, that grotesque on the day. And sure, yeah, you got to hit a big shot. I'm not saying he should have laid up there, but I'm saying that wasn't like a nails moment. That was just like he could have still held the line there and been perfectly fine. But he did what you absolutely just, I mean, he hit the worst shot of the week and then followed it up with other bad decisions. Because yes, he could have gotten out of that just making bogey. And then he's going to 12, which is another opportunity if you're in the fairway.
It's not even that it was 12 played more difficult on Sunday than it had all week. Now, I'm of 2 minds of this. One, it felt like he pressed because he made bogey at a par 5 and felt he needed to get it back immediately at 12, thus going for the green. But of all of the guys in the field, he's probably the most equipped
double?
No, he made bogey on 11. He ended up making double on 12. Yeah. But in order to get that shot back that he had just lost, it felt like a double because he's expected to birdie that hole. That basically ices the entire tournament for him. He doesn't get it. He presses on 12 and just hooks the driver. But you just don't expect him to hook a driver ever. So like, what do you do? Like that's his shot. Like that's his bread and butter, is putting the driver in his hands, and he's going to execute the drive that lands on the green or just short, easy up and down for birdie. You got your shot back. Everyone else made par. You actually come out even with all of these guys through that hole, and there's no harm done. And then he just compounded everything. And the drive is one thing, because you can get away on that hole with driving it into the water. It's a lot like 17 at Phoenix, where if you put it in the water, it's like, okay, just get it up and down and make par. No big deal. It was the second shot, I guess technically his third shot on 12. That was like, what are you doing, man?
Whoa. Stop the clock for a second. When you hit it in the water on 17 at Phoenix, you can get an opportunity to like drop it near the green. He dropped it. He had to drop it like at the entry point of the pond. He hit it so bad.
He did, because he hit it so bad. But most guys are going to go overland somewhere near the green, and you can drop up there.
Yes.
He hooked it so badly. Like, because when you're thinking through your mind, like, hey, what's worst case scenario here? It's like, oh, I miss it by a bit. It hits off the side and goes into the water. I can drop right here. I can get it up and down for par. Bogey at worst. And then he just screwed himself. And then got far too aggressive with that third shot.
I don't know. I'm more like, he hit the shots. He screwed up. I think there's a lot of like thoughts though.
Does this worry you about him?
No. I'm an apologist. To me, still like a bit of a pup in that sense.
Yeah, I would say
you got to learn from that. But like my outlook that this guy's going, to win multiple majors, I think before it's over. Like I'm not. No, that hasn't changed. I will say, and again, I'm not looking to blame other people, but when that happens, you just sort of look at everything, and I've heard from people closer that you remember the Fowler days, like the caddy, there's sometimes you go like there's moments of like totally unserious. I don't really have anything more to say, but it's like this guy couldn't get Ricky over the line, and if he can't get Ludwig over the line, like I don't know. That'd be like a whole, like which NFL coach would you, which pro coach would you like want to give those two teams to who didn't get a championship? Holy shit.
Yeah, like, but maybe it's the type of player that they are. Even think about Ludwig's win at Torrey Pines last year. It was of the Sergio ilk, where he had to go post a number and come back and win. When Fowler won the Players, he had to go nuclear over the final 4 holes in order to win that tournament, and then he won it in the playoff. I wouldn't be worried about Ludwig, mainly because everything that the entire discourse surrounding him right now is exactly what everyone said about Cam Young for the past 4 years. And Cam Young just won it.
Yeah, I have actually no concerns. He hits it. He's so good with the things that like will just have you in contention at so many of these big boys events, right? Like that's it.
But I would say that his 2 highest profile spots in his career so far, this has happened to him. The Masters 2 years ago, and then this.
I mean, he was like 2 or 3 back of Scottie.
He was 2 back of Scottie when he went on the water in 11.
Yeah, I don't, that's like his first trip at Augusta. Like, that is a total free, that doesn't even register. That doesn't even like register for me, at all. Chasing Scottie Scheffler at the back 9, being immature on like a difficult, on a difficult hole. This is like a totally different stratosphere. Like that doesn't even exist. And when I like, look at it, this one is like really bad. This is really bad. And not even like losing, because you could get caught. Someone could have gone nuclear. This was like mini Lowry 5 holes earlier.
Except it was good for him in the sense that he got run down by guys that people had bet on, people know and are good players, and they played well in order to get there. It's not like they were standing like with Nico. I mean, Nico hit a great shot on 17 and made the birdie putt in order to clinch his win. He ended up winning by 2, but it was sort of like he was standing there losing, and then someone told him that he was winning, and then he won the tournament.
Yeah, of course. And I'm not kidding. Like I would have been happy if Fitz won. It would have been a lovely payday as well. But in my head in the morning, I'm like, it just better be Ludwig or Cam. At least with like one of them, we got to stop asking questions. And I really hate the questions for both of them. Now, Cam was a bit further back. Maybe it would have been same old story. Ludwig's the one that comes with like the serious questions, but nah, he'll bounce back. It's frustrating because I've been like pounding him at these like 40, 45s a lot, thinking like these are ever like, I'll take these as long as they give them. And he's been playing well, but he didn't pop, and those will never happen. And what's funny is the Masters number like never moved. It was always like in the Masters thought of him, just the evergreen Masters thought of him, which was funny because then like the players odds come up like 2 months ago and they're like double his Masters odds.
That tracks mainly because you see the same thing with Zalatoris at Augusta. It's just every time that these guys have played that course, they've done well. And people, for casual bettors, the only thing they remember is the Masters. So they remember seeing his name on leaderboards.
And you get it from a sportsbook's perspective. They're like, the Masters is in 2 months. This guy is so good. Like he's got plenty of runway before we feel like that number should change.
I agree.
That being said, I mean, we'll get to it. It seems like the Brooks Masters hit the steamer.
I know that he's been competitive there before, and I'm not saying that he can't win the Masters. It just, in my mind, the Masters and Augusta doesn't feel like a Brooks type course.
Okay.
And he almost won it before, so like that's a crazy thought to have. But I want Brooks at a place with a ton of rough, like that you really like critically need to hit long, straight drives. Like when Rahm ended up winning, like I think Rahm is better than Brooks as an overall talent, although the results would indicate that Brooks is much better than Rahm because he has 5 majors. But that's a very interesting way to compare golfers. I think in the overall, would you agree that Rahm's peak is better than Brooks's peak, right?
In my opinion, yes. But Brooks is just good, like such a high level where he can win at a course that doesn't necessarily suit his strengths.
He is, but there's a reason that he has the PGA Championships and the U.S. Opens and not Augusta and the Open Championship. There's a level of creativity, and the same thing goes. I think it applies to Sawgrass as well, that you need to be somewhat creative with what you do at those courses, where I do find that, especially now with the PGA Championship changing its strategy and turning itself into more of a U.S. Open style test, that those are more mechanical than anything else. It's almost the same reason that I've never really loved Bryson at Augusta or an Open Championship. I think St. Andrews is kind of an outlier in all of those because that you can just kind of bomb and gouge your way around that. And you can do that at Augusta too, but eventually you get asked to make a shot that you really need to have some feel for. Hence Spieth, like someone like Thigala would be another one who could potentially do that. Fitzpatrick is one who just sees it a little bit differently. Justin Rose. A lot of the Europeans, honestly, can think about it that way because a lot of their style of courses go that way. And I know that Brooks came up on the Challenge Tour and is comfortable in some of those situations, but I just see him as, here's the course in front of me. I need to hit it to this spot because if I hit it to this spot, it's going to go here. I just need to be able to hit that spot. He's like the best at doing that, if that makes any sense. Like at a U.S. Open, when he's in the rough, he's like, I don't need to put it to 3 feet. I need to put it to 40 feet and 2-putt, and here's where I need to hit it, and I have the shots that I can do that where other guys don't. Where at Augusta, like, oh, I need to be Cam Smith and hit a spinner out of 8 trees around this and hook it around this way. That is not Brooks's game at all.
I agree. I think that's just like kind of obvious in a sense, but at the same time, he's still Brooks, and in his head, like in people's mind, there's like 15 guys that can win the Masters, and if he is playing,
he's one of them.
It's feeling good, then he can mix. I'm not going to be betting him to win the Masters, but he acknowledged like pre-week at his press conference at the Players how he has always sucked there. Like it's never worked for him ever. He's never had a good feel. And this week he played as best as he's ever played there. If you're a stand for the guy,
he came second one year. He had an albatross on Sunday, I think. It was him or Xander who had the albatross. I always get those ones mixed up. but he
Who did
did
he
come
lose
second.
to? Cam? What year was that?
Oh hell,
JT? I don't even remember him coming second.
It was before that. I can effort this for us. Let's see. Players Championship. No, I guess he didn't. No, it was Xander who came in second. Never mind. You're right. This was 2018 was his previous best. He was T11 there. That was the year that Rory won over like Vegas and Furyk.
But sure, like to your point, I would be more likely, Pat, to enjoy this Brooks Masters team. Hopefully he plays well and then get to Augusta. And if there's like head-to-heads I can pick on him with maybe because he's 33-1. I'm more likely to pick on him than, ride him at Masters Week. But maybe he'll win before there, but for everyone.
Yeah, he can win for everyone this week. But Webb Simpson won in 2018. I misspoke on
what Morikawa roll up, anything else you want to do? It was a busy week, man. Feels like you had a baby. It feels like it's been a month.
It does. There was a lot going on. I want to talk more about Fitzpatrick, though. We didn't really touch that much on Fitz. He finally put it a little bit together on the greens, retained the great ball striking, didn't quite make enough putts. I'm happy I have all these futures on him for the Masters PGA Championship, and I think those are the two that I have. I don't have US Open, and I don't have the Open Championship for him. I also have a ton of Bobby Mack futures at all these majors, so I was happy to see him. Like, he just keeps popping up in these big tournaments, man. He's never truly, he was in contention at the US Open last year, but you just see his name at the top of these leaderboards kind of come out of nowhere.
He's to be taken very seriously. He scared the shit out of me. You got some lovely futures. Well, you were on our future show. I got a nice Fitz PGA Championship. I didn't play the Masters, which is like half of what you shouted it out as. So credit to you. You were very like methodical and made some great shouts on the Masters show on our preview show, and I was just me and said Cam Young everywhere.
Yeah, and you got good numbers.
But they all worked. They've both worked for us so far.
Yeah, so we can relish in our CLV by the time that those guys lose and Scottie Scheffler finds his game and wins all these events. But with Fitz, did you have any particular take on? They asked him about it after the fact when people were just like big chanting USA at him coming off the 17th green. I find this really weird in non-Ryder Cup play, honestly. But I saw was Powers just doing like the ultimate trying to engagement farm over the weekend? Was that his entire thing?
Yes, he was just engagement farming for the New York Sun, his like favorite golfer. Powers can hit frozen ropes. In the gap. I don't know. Yeah, it's a bit weird. It was a bit weird. I feel like it's always sort of like this to different levels. Like I've been at the Honda in, way less tense times culturally. And I have always like the USA chance battling a non-USA guy late. It's just always there. But that felt ratcheted up. I don't, Fitz seemed like he was, I don't know. It's Sunday at the Players.
I don't think it mattered to Fitz. I think he was just kind of like confused by the entire thing. Kenny actually pointed this out. Kenny Kim, shout out Kenny Kim. You can get his thoughts later on tonight that it probably helped Cam Young more than it hurt Fitzpatrick. It really pumped up Cam Young.
I would agree with that. It unlocked, although, yeah, sure. I mean, he said his thoughts hitting that ball was give it everything, hit the greatest drive of your life.
He did.
And looks like, oh my God, what a drive. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't like love it, but I don't think it's as like bad as like some people
I don't think it's
make
bad.
it out to be, but I agree, like
It's weird.
You would get this at the U.S. Open, though, not at Augusta. Like, you probably get it at the PGA Championship, too.
Well, the U.S. Open makes a lot of sense because I saw people making the false comparison that, if this was the Canadian Open and a Canadian was there, people would be doing the same thing. Yeah, it's the Canadian Open. It's just like when it's the Scottish Open or when it's a national championship in that country. I feel like that's a little bit different.
Some of these people, it's always that, though.
But there's like fucking 40 tournaments a year in the U.S.
I know, it's weird. But when you're on the grounds and you're like drunk, everything matters. I don't know. I wasn't surprised by it at all, though. And it seems like some people were surprised by that.
It was just a lot. It was jarring to hear coming down from there. Like also with the other part of it too is that all of the other countries that were compared to this, like be it, let's say, the Canadian Open, like a Canadian hadn't won in like 60 years until Nick Taylor won. A Canadian winning the Canadian Open is still like a huge underdog moment where, I mean, as much as the U.S. wants to position itself as like underdogs, they're not underdogs at anything.
They're not underdogs at anything. And let's not to like go backwards, but that is what made like the hockey.
Because they were. Yes, that made a lot of sense.
So much like leveled up for them because they never get to be underdog. And the underdog role is such like an American story. But like in a sporting context or really anything, they're no longer that. And it is so rare where they get to be that, even if it's like minus 120 plus 100 or something. I don't know what the hockey game was. Maybe it's minus 140. Whatever. But they're never the underdog, but they like an athlete, you've got to convince yourself of something sometimes, and good for them. Maybe I guess now in Ryder Cup, they're underdogs.
Well, yes, that would actually, despite being, they'll be plus money. You know what? They'll be favored by the time the Ryder Cup happens. They're always favored in the Ryder Cup. Always. Even
that train might have ended, but you are right. They were big favorites.
In Italy.
They were
favorites in France.
Paris, maybe should have been, even though it was a good you could have capped it otherwise. Yeah, no, that line is probably over. Although you could probably bet it now. Not that I'd have looked, which I haven't, but I would imagine Europe's the favorite. I could get off track, and apparently Tiger's got to make a decision before the Ryder Cup,
before the Masters.
Sorry, before the Masters. And just quickly on the Masters, Pat, there's still time. Would you argue? No, this is a dumb thing, and I got none of it. Anything I have for the Masters has been like a big number. But if Scottie and Rory feel vulnerable, is there a potential where some of those futures that would have felt like just way too short don't feel as short if you're of the headspace that those guys could be wobbly? And then you're like, bro, this thing's in like a month. It's like the smallest range session that fixes both of them. And Rory's not even broken. He just needs to rest his back.
I don't even think he needs to rest his back. Dude couldn't putt all week. I think he was like third in driving for the week.
Okay, so yeah, and then it was a weird week for him. And then, it was funny, the TGL like back injury, and then the whole leaderboard was TGL guys.
Well, they're the ones without the back injuries. You either have a back injury or you're winning tournaments. That's it. That's the TGL dichotomy.
Trade-off.
Yeah, listen, if you wanted to sign people up for it, where are they going to get shooter shot on TGL?
Okay, just quickly though, because we're probably not going to talk about Rory for a bit. This is probably a dumb question. Is Rory going to play TGL?
I don't know.
Big semifinals this week.
Sure, I
couldn't even tell you who's playing who, but
probably yes. I would guess that he's going to play.
Okay, good. Shooter Sean, what a little rocket ship we got here.
Man, it's funny because we've been talking about him for weeks, like only because he was Canadian. You'd be like, who is this Canadian guy who's posting some decent results? I've actually already bet him for the Valspar too. Just his total driving's number 1 in the field. Dude just looks down and rips it. That's it. That's all he does. It's awesome.
Dude, his story is crazy. Like crazy. One of those, like obviously born in India, dad worked beside a golf course, but didn't like anything to do with golf in like an industrial area, and just observed it, then got his kid into it, never had a lesson. The guy learned to swing from like watching golf. And then I saw this video of him. Him and his dad talk about discovering YouTube.
Well,
and
that would track with his, he's
not
24.
just watch golf, they could rewind and watch on demand, and then he would just try to do what people were doing. And he's fucking, now he's PGA Tour player.
I mean, this is quite a run.
There are more stories of that than like country club kids. Granted, I think Cam Young is a country club kid.
He looks like a country club kid. I would put money on country club kid. But yes,
no, he is a country club kid.
There are more stories. I would say that's probably the biggest influence that YouTube golf has had. Because I mean, not even just YouTube golf as we envision it right now. I saw that the Barstool Classic is like 9 events. I saw that this morning. I thought it was 1 event.
No. You're talking about the Invitational. This is like a mini local tour thing they do.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, they've done that for years. That is 2 totally different things, unless that's not the Barstool Invitational. That's just like a running little muni circuit.
So it's like the old school Hooters tour that Ted Potter Jr. used to win.
Maybe. But shout out, like Pat, I used my instructional YouTube was like how to tie a tie.
Yeah, but I mean but he is before what we think about YouTube golf now. He was like watching like old Masters videos and watching Tiger swings and like slow. He was basically doing Konica Minolta vision at his house. Yes,
because like hearing him and his dad speak about finding YouTube, and then like it was the greatest thing because he didn't have to. You know, I used my Spank Bank to like remember the pretty girls that I saw, because this is before you could like watch porn on the internet and stuff, right? He used his bank. He didn't have to do that. He used a Spank Bank to remember like golf swing and positioning. And then he finally got YouTube and could rewind it and didn't have to use a memory. Well, like obviously use the memory, but then could like just on demand. Magic. Jared doesn't know. Jared never had to live through these times.
I had to live through those times in Florida. I was by myself for a few days away from.
Yeah, you could have still loaded something up on. I don't know. Florida, they have those things where like porn's not allowed.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, they're like, yeah, I need your license. I was like, the fuck is this?
Yeah. Good thing my wife came down. Yeah, Florida's not allowed. It's actually pretty fun. Something
like,
weird there.
What the hell is this? Thought this was America. Where's my porn?
Yeah, I don't know. How can those USA bros be supporting that?
I don't know. I was not chanting USA.
Well, like
USA at my phone in the hotel
USA
room.
chants. Listen.
Okay, I want to put a different spin on this. I kind of like it. I like that there's some animosity to this. I like that this is now a talking point if this starts happening, because then it will position some of like the Matt Fitzpatricks of the world, anyone who is taking on the American guy as a non-American, it makes me root for that guy even more. I think this is a good galvanizing thing from either side of who you are rooting for. And the issue, I guess, is that this isn't a team event. It's an individual event, and people like all sorts of players from everywhere on the PGA Tour. I've never really thought, and maybe it's not me thinking about it in the right sense, but like, if it came down to, let's say, like Rory versus Brian Harman, or people like USA Brian Harman, or people like, yeah, go Rory.
I think you hit it on the head. I don't know if it's Rory versus Cam Young. I think we're still getting it. But if it's Rory versus Brian Harman, you're right. They probably still want to see Rory hit a fucking perfect drive and be like sealing Rory.
Yeah, people like Cam Young. I mean, I think that's part of it. But is that
and were people doing that? I know it was a Monday morning, but like, you think like it was USA chance for JJ Spawn
against Rory? No, people are rooting for Rory.
Yeah, JJ. Yeah, so
you need to be a certain level of like,
but also like but like you look at Matthew Fitzpatrick and you're like,
nicest guy in the world,
most like unhateable person ever. Now, granted, I don't think this has anything to do with anything, but it did come out like before the Ryder Cup last year, and maybe in hindsight, he might have made a right decision. like his parents did not go because of like being harassed at like a previous thing.
Yeah, not shocking.
Right? Yeah. Like they didn't
Why
go
would
like
you
full
go?
stop. I guess they figured like if I'm not going to go to be able to like walk around, or I don't feel like fun walking around, I don't need to go to like sit inside to watch it on the lounge. I might as well stay home. But
Exactly. Which sucks. I mean, that does suck, though. That like people's parents don't want to go to watch their kids play in a Ryder Cup because they might get harassed in the crowd. That's insane.
it is pretty insane. And listen, some people were tying what happened yesterday to Bethpage.
I see. I didn't see that.
I agree.
That's not how I took it, at least.
And they were like, you know, I think Ben, I give Ben a lot of props. He's always insightful with his golf picks and his opinions. And even when I disagree, I appreciate his different perspective on it. I think he had mentioned, like, had they done a much more aggressive job of shutting down the nonsense at Bethpage, that doesn't happen today. I don't see those connected at all. I don't see the connection to like USA Chance to like vulgarity at Bethpage.
I agree. Now, I don't know what happened on the grounds exactly yesterday. If it was just the chanting and like it sounded positive from what I could tell. There was no negativity to it. Now, it felt directed at like pro cam, anti-Fitz, but it's also a sporting event. This is going to happen. Like that's fine. It's not people like die, Matt, die. It's not like a wrestling event like it was at Bethpage. It didn't seem that way.
It wasn't like you fucking look like a test tube baby shit that he was hearing at the Ryder Cup.
Didn't hear that.
No, like, oh, you know, listen, everyone got it, you know, you John Rahm's being called like fat fuck for 4 days. So whatever they can like think of, you know, they were calling them. Were they like cheering as Fitzpatrick's ball like went through the pine straw? Yeah, but I don't think there was like a post shot insult, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was the case or if it wasn't the case, but it didn't seem like.
And he seemed to handle it pretty good after the fact.
Oh, yeah.
As well.
I think he actually made a lot of fans yesterday in the loss, more so than, although you can tell who's like new to golf and who's not. It's like, oh, Matt Fitzpatrick will be back. He'll win a big one someday. It's like, dude, won the fucking US Open 3 years ago.
Yeah, he was so nails for the most part. Like you said, all through the week, there were putts. Like if you bet Fitzpatrick, there's probably like 5-6 putts that you can recall. Throughout it. I don't doubt that it got him fans. Aren't they New York teammates?
They are. They're both on the New York Golf Club on TGL, so they'll be playing together, I think. Are they still in the playoffs? Or are they out?
No, I think New York was like horrible.
Oh, well, they saved all their good golf for the real course rather than the screen.
Yeah, Xander's also New York, and like the thing with New York is like they...
Is that true? Like he's also New York? So 1, 2, 3 on the players' leaderboard was New York Golf Club?
I believe Xander's also New York Golf.
Interesting. Well, here's them losing to LA. Yeah, there's Cam Young, Fitz, and I don't know who that is standing next to him. Oh, is that Ricky Fowler? No, that has to be someone else. Yeah, Xander, Cam Young, and Fitz, all on New York.
New York Golf, Sawgrass Corollary. I'm trying to think other things that come to my head.
Hold on. Do you think it's not that the reason that they're not good at TGL and the reason that they're up at the players because they're not good enough because they're not hurting their backs on TGL, therefore they can still be good on the course?
No, I think like the knock on New York, which is like fair, is like they're the most like hit and giggle. Like Xander doesn't give a Xander's there. It's
don't say that. Don't say that they're not taking it seriously, Jeff.
No, I don't mean like they want to execute the shots in front of them, but like in a way where like Billy Horschel and like Patrick Cantlay like know the hammer permutations to the nth degree. Xander doesn't even like have it with them when it's time to throw it, and they're very like laissez-faire. I'm not saying they don't care, but they're happy to be part of the spectacle. The winning or losing, I think they haven't grown to that yet. And that's been the knock on the New York team. But look at the players. And I'm not saying like, who cares? I don't think it matters whether they're laissez-faire. I'm just saying that is from the people who are deep in TGL. That is the takeaway. Corey Connors, Pat,
Oh my
is
God.
the only player for which I invested in props. And I don't know, tracking him Sunday, like hoping to hold some placings.
No.
I've never seen him do that. I've never seen him catch trains like that before at a Bogeyville. Like every single hole, it was 14 feet for par. I couldn't believe it.
He can't
hit a
chips.
44-footer on Saturday for par, which I was so happy about.
Well, I my personal investment of the week, most of my guys were dead except for Straka. And I was like, yeah, I had the same feeling that you did. Like, Straka's either going to make a run or he's going to completely implode. And he kind of did both at the same time, which was really strange on the back nine. He birdied 9, 10, and 11, got to 2 back. Then he made the double bogey on 14 because he missed a 2-foot putt. And then he had his placement, his top 5 placement. I was pretty fired up. And I don't know what the hell he tried to do from the pine straw where he hit the duck. And it almost bounced back into play.
Crazy.
Two doubles.
He scared the shit out of me. As someone who had all the guys at the top, and I get maybe paranoid, the Chargers are up 21. I think they're going to lose. That's just how my brain works. I'm like always, when he hits like 2 in a row, I'm like, blank, it's going to be 6 in a row. Because he's got that like unconscious in him. Very impressive. Very, I loved the leaderboard. I guess it's guys I bet, but a lot of likable guys, even Victor and the ones that fell off. And I guess the leaderboard worked out perfectly, Pat. Because once, Rory has his back, Scottie wasn't all there, Morikawa withdrew. Like that next tier, like had a door to walk through, and they were all, so many of them were right there. Even Tommy, who you said didn't execute, like his game, didn't, I think he's still top 10. Like everyone's sort of part of that next crew. Siwoo bottom, but it wasn't going to get past them. And I'm happy one of mine grabbed it.
I was happy to put my baby swag onto you so you could have everyone on the leaderboard and win. I was talking to Scott Blumstein, who had us out in Vegas for the round. He's won the World Series of Poker main event, so he's probably doing okay. But he texted me he's first in the Millionaire Maker, like midway through, midway through the front 9. Because he had Cam, he had Fitz, and he had Ludwig, and he had Victor, and Victor just fucked up his entire thing.
Yeah, there were a lot of big numbers there still on Sunday.
Well, I appreciated guys pressed at the end. Like no one was except for, maybe Yellamaraju did, where he was like, you know what, a 5th place finish for me here is pretty good. I'll win $1 million. This is a career changing moment for me with the amount of money and security that I'm going to get. But even guys like Brian Harmon, they're like, well, I can't make this shot, but I can't win unless I make this shot, so I'm going for it. Everyone did that coming down the stretch.
Yeah, although the broadcast gave Xander a hard time for his shot on 17.
He just hit a bad shot. Like, guys still hit bad shots. He hit a bad shot on 17.
I agree, but it's hard
to
sometimes to decipher whether it's a bad shot. I agree. I assume it was a bad shot. Xander doesn't give a shit about...
When you clear the wooding by a foot, it was a bad shot. You missed your shot.
Yeah. And Xander doesn't care about 3rd place to 8th place. He doesn't give a shit.
No, his entire career was that until he stopped caring about that.
Sure. Although he does, it was a tough week for, the Blue Owl stocks. And I saw that's on his sleeve. So, he must have got that from his friend Pat.
Let's talk Morikawa for a second, because I saw a lot of crybabies out there that it sucks when your player WDs. Even like I was getting things like, can we get a reset on? Someone asked me, who I don't run the fucking thing in the one and done. Like I don't make the rules. You can't change the rules mid-season. They're like, can we get a reset on Morikawa? It's like, no, you can't get a reset on Morikawa. This fucking shit happens.
Asking you for a reset on the one and done would be like asking Ronald if I can get fresh fries.
I know. It's insanity.
Like you speak for him. I was like, I'm the wrong person for that.
But even so, okay, I could be a bit more like if you had Ryan Fox in the one and done for reasons unknown, He never hit it. Like, Morikawa hit a shot. Once you hit a shot, you're playing. Like, I'm sorry. It's like if your quarterback gets hurt on the first play of the game, well, that sucks. Better luck next week.
Yeah, it sucks. I do, good to see some of the made-for-TV books, treated it like an opening drive injury, and that's fine. That's a decision. People just reinvest it anyway.
But there is a big difference between both daily fantasy games where you're competing against other people versus an outright bet where you're competing versus the book. Like, people don't seem to be able to distinguish those two things. There are rules in place. You can't change the rules of a fantasy tournament after it starts. That doesn't make any sense.
You cannot. I listen. It's and
I get that it
gambling.
Sucks.
It's a game of skill, but at its core, it remains gambling. And part of the gamble is, the guy's staying healthy, the guy's getting hurt. I would also say to there's so many people that, like, when these things happen, they clamor, even when it's a lower tier player, for the PGA Tour injury reporting. Nonsense, people. Like, I don't know what you want. I feel like it would cause you way more grief than you would expect. You'd overthink everything by like some random report. Guys might even forget to update it. Like, who would actually give a shit? And here's the other thing about the Morikawa one. I'm naive enough to believe, after watching the clip, like, that happened in game. And even listening to him talk, like, he didn't have any pre-existing soreness or pain. We've all been on a golf course. You take one awkward swing and you could really, like, fuck something up. And unlike us, it's not like our round for the week. He's got more important things. I'd pop a Robaxa set and hit the Crown Royal and, like, be ripping again. Like, this, it just seemed like guys get hurt in game. This happened in game. I don't think an injury report even saves you here, people. Like, I don't know what we're talking about.
And maybe it's because we've been doing this for so long that there seems to be a fundamental misunderstanding by even the viewing audience of this show, people who bet on golf, people who play daily fantasy sports. There's no player union in golf. They're all independent contractors. They don't have to tell you shit. In the other sports, there is a player union. If they don't do X at certain X time and report injuries, then they're going to be fined. There are penalties to be incurred. They can't enforce that on the players on the PGA Tour. It just doesn't work like that.
You cannot enforce anything. All you can do is when they do something that you feel goes against the spirit of the sport, is you can shame them. Like when, there's no rule, they have to speak to the media. Morikawa got publicly shamed pretty extensively. And now what have we seen? Been a lot of guys have pretty gas can moments winning tournaments. They don't want to be shamed. They'll all go speak to the media now. I'm not saying you could shame a guy for not reporting the injury, but there's just nothing you could. I don't even know what the solution is. Like, and I'm so out of the DFS streets. As I've said, when it first left Ontario, I tried to be in it. There'd even be moments where I would just hit up people, have a couple lineups made for me. I'm so doesn't exist for me anymore. I do see Tambo. I love Tambo. I follow Tambo. He is like a major proponent of the injury report. What is his actual suggestion for it?
I don't know. We just need more people to be like Michael Kim, who were like, hey, my back hurts. I'm going to withdraw from this tournament on Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean,
but most guys are there. They want to give it a go, right? It's the same reason that a lot, like the field for the Valspar now has become really good, because this is what most of these top end guys, be it Xander, Victor, Thomas, Bridgman, Fitz, maybe not Spieth, he'll probably play in Texas, Cantlay, Griffin, Brooks, like this is their last event before the Masters. Then you have the two Texas events. Most of these bigger names you're not going to see in Texas. They're using this as because they're already there. If guys are already there, they're going to try to give it a go.
And it's no different. Like, being injured and being hurt are two different things, right? If guys, like you said, they're hurt, they're going to see how they're feeling like the morning of the game. Maybe I could stretch it, loosen it up, be ready to go. Also, what happens when guys are hurt and they test it out, they're not ready to go. So having this demand that they've got to tell you something on Wednesday is ridiculous. It's just,
I don't think it's ridiculous. I just don't think it's enforceable, thus making it ridiculous.
Well, yes. Sorry,
and what are they going to say? Like Xander's like on the range. He's like, yeah, my back was kind of stiff. Whether that means anything or not, then you're just going to get people saying they're always hurt.
And then what happens? Like, look at the NBA. It's an actual league, right? And their teams, and there is some level of injury reporting, and they still can't really do anything. Like, you can punish the most egregious offenders. And I don't know what that would mean. Like a guy holding his back, not like hitting a ball all week and then trying to hit his first shot. Like, okay. But that doesn't happen.
Yeah. And the Morikawa thing, like you said, it happened on the course. He ripped the drive and then he hit his iron to like 10 feet or something like that. And he's like, man, I can't go anymore.
And what's unfortunate is this time of year when we're on like the cusp of Masters season, major season, the sort of thing, like, the sort of thing you might have gone out and partied with your boys with. Like, I don't know, you got a big trip in a couple of weeks. You're not, I don't know. Now I'm just going on a tangent. I don't believe in it. It doesn't feel realistic, hence ridiculous.
So on the Rory type thing right now, Rory gained 5 strokes off the tee at the Players. That was second in the field of all players. He was only 1 on approach. He had a very poor chipping week. Or he had an okay chipping week. He was like plus 1.3, minus 5.3 putting. So if you think that like this was because Rory was injured, it wasn't. Rory just putted poorly.
Thank you for clarifying that.
He sucked on the par. You want to talk about Cam Young being shit on the par 5s? I think Rory played them even for the week.
Okay, so I appreciate getting that clarified. What I forgot to mention when I made the comment earlier that maybe that next tier on the Masters future board might not be as bad as we perceive it. The knock on Rory that I meant to state wasn't the back, Pat.
Oh.
It is going back to back, returning as like the Grand Slam champion, all of like what his week is. His old week was just him in his own head. And could he overcome that? This is going to be like, it's almost, I don't want to say a first time, but for a guy who's been to the Masters so much in his life, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be like rookie experiences.
No, I disagree because he's had this at the Open Champion, like the Open Championship to someone from the UK, because he is from Northern Ireland, that there would be the pomp and circumstance around that, especially with him having won it twice already as a young guy. I think it's more freeing for him. Like he can just have fun at the Masters now. And maybe that makes him worse. I don't know. But I don't think that he's going to be like overwhelmed by everything that you need to do as Masters champion.
So I think,
and it's also just it's also
overwhelmed, but we've just seen champions.
It's just hard to repeat at Augusta. Like I think that's the clear thing about it.
That's the obvious thing that sometimes gets made as like a tertiary thing when people try to make like a dinner menu as like the reason. No, it's just hard. As I sit here now, though, unrelated to the back. It's not like a bull take. I don't think I'm going to bet the guy who's going to be like 8-1, 10-1, 12-1. I'm going to probably like be totally picking on and fading Rory. But I don't play DFS, so I don't know like what the term is. But I'm like not going to have anything Rory Masters week.
Well, let's take a look at some Masters futures right now. Here's what the board is telling us. Scottie is plus 350. Rory's plus 725. Ludwig's 11. Bryson's 11.5. Rahm's.
This is. What did they do? They have now. This is crack season Masters betting.
Yeah.
Like I get like when we did a show around Christmas, or you think a guy's playing well. Now that we're within this zone post players, they've now cratered it. Like you. The only people betting a Masters guy now, like they just need their crack. It's like a drug addict who like needs an addiction filled. They need a hit of a Masters bet. There's no way these odds. Okay, sorry, rant over.
You can get all the odds up at coolbet.com if you're in Canada outside of Ontario. I'll have some boosts for Valspar and the tournament up there this week. Akron plus South Florida. I played at Moneyline Parlay, but I was talked into playing the spreads as well, the very boring part. So the non 10-1. But I'll have that as a boosted parlay up there as well under the PME exclusive section. Yeah, like Bryson, you got like Xander's 16, Tommy's 20, Morikawa. Morikawa at 25 is actually probably a pretty good number right now.
Yeah, probably.
Doesn't
seem that unfair.
Yeah, he's 22 in some places, 25. Like Cam Young's still 35. Brooks is still 40. Bobby Mack.
Patrick Reed playing before the Masters?
I don't know. The Barstool Mini Tour?
I'm just curious how he's going to get his reps in. I don't know. I'm so pleased quickly because we got to do. I'm so pleased with the new commissioner.
Oh, did you? I didn't really pay any attention to it. Can you fill us in on what the commissioner said?
Again, it was part of like a week that feels like a year ago. He didn't commit to anything, but he just listed like a lot of like stated goals per se. And again, it does seem like they're just getting rid of, like, it does seem like they're going to be like 2 tours, and they're just trying to figure out how the promotion relegation should properly work.
I think if they can make a fun promotion relegation, I think that actually creates excitement for both tours in a weird way. At least to me. The casual fan probably will not care and not watch these lesser events. But as someone who is really enthralled by Yellamaraju like making a run, knowing that he had no chance to win, but I mean, man, if he comes out like the top 10, top 5 here, like this is career changing. And then that finish gets him into the heritage, I'm pretty sure, because he's up so far on the Aon next 10 now because of that finish. He has so many FedEx Cup points that, hey, this guy that I saw make a great run at this tournament, he now gets his shot at the bigger guys because he had played so well. Let's see if he can stay there. If not, he has to go back down. I like that up and down type nature of it. If they can really come up with something that's easy to follow, that they can explain easily and is pretty fluid.
Yes. So, and I just think like there's going to be so much more transparency around it. Because in the past, be like everyone knew it was a lesser event, but like no one wanted to say anything, even if the field strength was like so much lower. That being said, we're too deep into it. But my question would be, is there are so many people, Pat, that like they're not hardcores. They just put the golf on the weekend. And sometimes it is the Valero Texas Open, the Cognizant, John Deere, and they still watch. Like the ratings are still strong. They're not strong like elevated, but is not being transparent advantageous to this? Maybe it is, but would these people actually turn it off? Like turn off NBC or CBS because there is like I don't know what they wouldn't call it tier 2. They'd have a name for it and they'd be like, "Oh, it's not the top one." But I would think in some ways, if you're a sports fan and a golf fan, you would see sometimes, because the magic, the battle to win one of these like not tier elite events is arguably more life-changing than like Xander winning a tier A event.
I think you just call it all the PGA Tour. You just allocate fewer FedEx Cup points to the other tournaments. And then like no one's the wiser. Like everyone who knows, and everyone who doesn't care.
So I think you probably nailed it. Don't call it anything else. But again, this like whole hidden thing of, the FedEx Cup points is, we have to keep them at a level because we want good players to go. And if we make less FedEx Cup points, that gives this lower end event even less of a chance to attract higher end talent. You don't have to like broadcast that on the broadcast.
Correct. Do you think that, let's say CJ Cup played outside of Dallas, Spieth is going to show up either way, whether it's elevated or not. He's going to play in that event.
You're 100% right. But what Roll Up also talked about is like, just they're going to try to have more transparency with their partners, where I'm sure it costs less to sponsor the Cognizant than something else. But like,
Mayhill, yeah,
they're going to have, their partners are going to be like far more aware of like what they're buying. Like there's just going to be like much more transparency around all of it, which I think is needed. He spoke about looking at match play for the Tour Championship, and is not a football guy. This guy can know that when you have two teams that aren't, when Oklahoma and Indiana make it to the finals, that's just life. And there's still drama in that, and there's stories to be told.
No. See, I completely disagree. I don't think it's about who is playing in the finals of match play. Watching two people play golf against each other with no other golf going on is inherently boring for 4.5 hours. It doesn't matter who it is. That's why those matches.
There were moments watching that, Pat, where it felt like Rolap. He spent a lot of time either talking to people who listen to a lot of golf podcasts or was listening to golf podcasts himself. But when he takes my great idea, I'll know he listened to ours.
I was just scanning the Masters future board. There is one that seems out of place because no one believes this guy could win the Masters, but I think he could win the Masters.
Terrell Hatton? Who?
Jacob Bridgman is 90-1 to win the Masters. I get that it's Jacob Bridgman, but the dude is on a fucking heater, man. He won Riviera.
Has he played the Masters before?
I don't think so, no. It's happened before, though. Fuzzy Zoeller did win in 1979.
I guess.
This just seems like a really big number considering, because everyone else has been crushed, right? Even guys that, for example, Thegal has been a fun story. He's a bit of a rebound so far this year. He's someone that I've bet at the Masters. Why does he have better odds than Jacob Bridgman to win this? Why does Max Homa?
I would rather Bridgman than them, but I'm not betting anything.
Why does Marco Penge have better odds at the Masters than Jacob Bridgman? They never adjusted him up. He just has been maybe he went from 200 to 100 to 90. But if you gave Russell Henley the profile that Jacob Bridgman has had in 2026, Russell Henley would be 13-1 to win the Masters.
It's kind of hard to disagree with that.
How was your experience betting Henley for the first time?
I think that's what people get when they bet Russell Henley. Just, clean card, a guy always sort of on the first or second page. I was, at a course like that at 40-1, I'd consider doing it again.
Yeah, good number, right course from. He's just, for whatever reason, it should be a course where he's awesome. He just never is. It does feel like Straka is trending towards a player. That dude is just in contention, it feels like, every year. He's trending towards a win at some point, isn't he? He and Fitz, I feel like, have been the two best players this year around leaderboards, playing well. Maybe Nikolai would be the other one, where it's just they got to win at some point, or the moment's going to pass them by.
In terms of outright betting, he does seem like the fairest, safest bet every week because he brings win equity, and you can always trust him. There's always a sense that an unconscious blackout round is in there. So yeah, I think every time we come it up, we do these big events, he's always 65, 70-1. And that's pretty fair every time.
Last thing on the players, Scottie's irons were terrible again. Not awful, but just not good. Is this a thing now, or is this because it's a thing now because people are actually talking about it outside of data people? People are now oh, okay, maybe is something off with Scheffler. He couldn't drive the ball at all this week, and this is exactly what we talked about. When I did my breakdown in the column this last week for the players and talking specifically about Scheffler, is that his irons are down. They're not separating him from the field. But the rest of his game is making up for it. He's driving it great. He's chipping it great. Well over any part of his career, his driving, putting, and chipping had been so much better than any other year that it was masking how bad his irons were. And now his driver failed him a bit, the putter failed him a bit, and all of a sudden he just has terrible results at big tournaments.
And he's pretty sensitive about it, it seems.
Oh, yeah.
when he's asked fair questions, because even after rounds, he's spending a lot of time working on something. And I see, did you find a fix? Like just an innocent, like, I don't know, it'd be a fair golf question. Like, well, that would imply something was broken.
The guys that don't feel like anything's broken aren't practicing in the pouring rain after a Thursday at the Players.
But I did like his response earlier in the week when asked about, I guess the results that haven't been there. And he's like, you guys judge me on like week to week results. I'm out here judging myself shot by shot. Like iron by iron. Like that's how I grade myself. You're here at the end of the week. You want to know I'm shot by shot. I grade myself every shot. So he's hard as fuck on himself. Still plenty of time though. I almost wish the Masters was like this week, 10 days or something. Because like maybe he'd still be vulnerable. But I don't know. By the time we get there, I fully expect him to have it all sorted out.
What are McIntyre's odds for the Masters? 40-1? We'll get a better number when that comes around.
But yeah, now there's a lot of guys we won't see again.
But we'll probably see everyone once before the Masters because Rory and Scottie have been playing Houston the past few years. Scottie plays it every year. He got ran down by Steven Yeager there.
I'm trying to remember who was asked if they'll play again before the Masters, and they were said undecided.
That was probably Rory?
I think you're right. I think it was. It was obviously someone really big. I think you're right.
What are we doing with the Valspar? Do you want to go to the names at the top? Are there guys down the board you like? How do you feel like the Players' Championship mixes into this? Because we saw Victor, Justin Thomas, Xander had a huge round in the final round. He didn't finish inside the top 10, but he led everyone strokes gained approach a year ago. Now that there are bigger names at this tournament than ever before, do you think that this leads to more of a stacked leaderboard for who we should be betting? Like, should we be thinking about the Taylor Moores of the world, I guess, is my question.
Yeah, my first instincts were more on the Taylor Moores of the world. I didn't really have an opinion on, like, even if I had to make a move at the top, who I would make it on. So at this point, I'm expecting my card to be like 40 and above.
40 and above. Okay, well, let's go to the top of the board and try to parse this through. Robert McIntyre has already withdrawn from this tournament. There could be a few more coming down the pike because of the Players' Championship, because a lot of guys that were at the top of the leaderboard are committed to playing.
Do you know I had a thought, Pat, this morning on a certain website betting a guy who's at the very bottom of the board at like at 5,000 to 1, just in case that there were lots of withdrawals and they had a snafu?
That's probably not the craziest thing to do at this point. I don't think that they would do that again, but maybe
agreed.
Maybe you catch them with their pants down twice. Who knows? We're using coolbet.com for this. So you can go to coolbet.com, hit the description if you're in Canada, outside of Ontario. And once again, you can play in the free PME NCAA bracket. That link is in the description as well. It's on Underdog. If you're not on Underdog, use code Mayo, get yourself on there and play in the free bracket against all of us. Xander is the betting favorite. He's 10-1. Victor Hovland is 14-1. Fitzpatrick is 16-1. Akshay 18-1. Jacob Bridgman 20-1. Then you're into Cantlay, Spieth, Thomas, Brooks, Connors, Ben Griffin, Nikolai Højgaard, JJ Spawn. That's everyone below 30-1. That is going to adjust as the week goes along. There's just simply not going to be that many names that are below that threshold, but I've already bet Brooks. 30 is the best number on market for him right now. I played the each way extra with the 3 for him at 45, but I really like Brooks. We discussed him on the Players Recap a little bit, but I said we wanted to save it for this part of the show. It's been 3 of 4 tournaments he's possessed elite ball striking. You just need him to start making a few putts. I think he can make a few putts eventually, so I'm going to bet him at this number.
The oven is getting very warm. So nothing at this point would honestly surprise me. With his pedigree, it just keeps getting like progressively better. And this is just my own perception, but I felt like even at Honda, it was a bunch of like 40-footers, like a bunch of like luck sacking, which might be unfair for me to say. And when sort of keeping an eye this week, it felt like he was just hitting it to 12 feet, 14 feet, and hitting putts a few more, certainly, of like the putts you actually have to hit to win the golf tournament.
I would think so. He didn't make enough of them. He ended up losing strokes putting for the week. It really reared its head on Sunday when he was trying to make a bit of a move. But with all things being equal at this tournament, he possesses exactly what you want. He's fifth tee to green. He's seventh in ball striking. We know he can chip. And as we discussed his player profile when people were talking about betting him at the Masters, this is a course that I think completely fits his skill set.
It's hard to disagree. I might be regretting it, but I'm not ready to bite on him. I'm not ready to bite on any of these guys, but I'd rather bet Brooks at 28 or 30 than Patrick Cantlay at 22 or something.
Of note, Patrick Cantlay is Cust one and done for the week. If people I will never forget this tournament for Patrick Cantlay though, because it was the reemergence of Patrick Cantlay from this guy who was an incredible junior. He was essentially the Blades Brown of his time. And then he got into that car accident. He sustained the pre-TGL back injury, and it kept him out for 2-3 years. No one thought that we would ever see him again. And then he resurfaced at the Valspar the year that Hadwin won. He went to the wire with Hadwin. And essentially since then, Cantlay's kind of been a guy.
A lot of fun memories. A lot of fun memories here. What? Casey's gone back to back. Burns went back to back. Dreaded Patrick Reed 3-putt at the last is a memory. All of the times I thought Graham Dillette would win here. A 5-man Luke Donald playoff once was awesome when it was like 5 names ago. I love this tournament.
Yeah, when it was the Transitions Championship.
Good times. And Pat, I will say this, and it feels appropriate. It feels appropriate today. Off the Cam Young win. In my opinion, we all have our own betting Cam Young experiences. Close calls everywhere. The most painful one, the one that I didn't know I would come back from. But one time, Gary Woodland lost a Barracuda to Greg Chalmers, and I swore on my life I would never bet on him again. And I was there for a U.S. Open. Blessed. Right there. Oh, other hand. Oh my God. They're going to cut this. I'm fucked. There, Pebble Beach, U.S. Open. Over my shoulder beside Gatesy. But Cam Young lost to a bucket hat and a yellow ball.
Sure did.
And I at that moment, I didn't know. That was my darkest Cam Young place. Losing to the yellow ball and a bucket hat.
The things I vividly remember from that year Cam Young doesn't even come up in the conversation from what I remember. I remember the drop that Malnati got from the rough onto the fringe on 17 to close out the tournament. Playing by the rules, as Scheffler did the same thing at the Players this week. And Keith Mitchell hitting it into the parking lot as the leader going into the final round. I don't even think he finished inside the top 10.
No, Cam Young was like the leader on 17, duck hooked it into the trees.
Well, listen, sometimes you need to go through those types of experiences of duck hooking it so you can step up to a tee and hit a perfect draw.
Listen, it happens. But I'm just saying, I'm sure everyone in there, like us Cam truthers, we all had our dark moments. That was my darkest, and it happened to be this tournament. But it's okay. I'm not complaining. We're feeling good. Florida has been kind. Florida's been kind. Let's finish it with a bang. Feel like there could be another nice winner out there because we've been on a stretch of them.
So
Scottie hasn't gotten hot yet, and he's not playing, so this is a chance.
So Xander, Victor, Thomas, you're out on those guys?
Yeah, I'm gonna have fun making like spinning a wheel of losers, I think.
I don't know if this is a wheel of losers tournament. There's too many good players here.
Okay, well then I have another question, but once we get into the next tier, I'll ask it right away.
Okay. So you're out on those guys. We didn't talk about Thomas at all on the players recap because he kind of faded a little bit, but what a turnaround in his second week back.
An incredible week. And what sucks is like I had a friend who like live bet Thomas like late, just like wanted a anyhow. So he was like upset, and I'm like, I couldn't share in not caring. I couldn't share in being upset. I'm like, this is such a great week for Justin. Like, I don't even care what he did on Sunday. And I think he finished fine anyway.
He was T8. He tied with Straka.
Yeah, what a great week. What a great week. Maybe if he got 2 rounds in at like the Honda, he could have won. That was a joke. He came back in an impossible spot. But the schedule dictated that. Because when you haven't played in so long, you're not going to play 3 weeks in a row. And you're obviously going to like play Bay Hill and the Players.
Well, he is playing 3 weeks in a row now. He played Bay Hill Players this week.
And now he is. But it just returning. Someone did that last year. Xander might have.
Yeah, it was Xander. Bay Hill. And it was this tournament when he gained like 12 strokes on approach and came 12th.
You know what, Pat? You know what? I would argue, I don't think I was at the front of this, but that single round from Xander at Valspar, I think had residual effects and cost people a lot of money.
I believe so, because it bumped him up in all of the models just because that spike performance. Additionally,
even going into the Masters, he was pretty popular for the Masters. We were glomming onto that fucking statistical round for like 2 months.
Well, Thomas's driving wasn't very good. It was awful at the Arnold Palmer. It was, it wasn't like nut low at the Players. It still wasn't good at the Players. The approach was fire. The chipping was regular Justin Thomas stuff, and he made a ton of putts. And I can't remember what the issue has been with him here over the years, because he came second last year. He just got run down. Victor closed it out on him. He had a top 3. He plays this tournament every year. Maybe he is the guy to look at. 13th, 3rd, 2nd. If you think that he's like, if this was a healthy Justin Thomas, his number would be better than like 20-1, wouldn't it?
Yeah. What's your Fitz number?
The best Fitz number I can find is 22.
That if make me a bet under 30-1, it's Fitz at 22.
It's not Bridgman at 22?
Love Bridgman. No, it'd be Fitz at 22.
Bhatia?
That would be the bet I would make under 30-1.
So like Akshay and Connors don't do it for you. Cantlay doesn't do it for you. What about Spieth?
So can I ask you a question? What is your Connors number?
I see 27.
So let me tell you this. Now this is where we're shopping, Pat. This is what I wanted to ask, but I needed to get to level up. So I see Connors in a, don't laugh at me, but I'm just examining the world. Without Fitz, Scheffler, Victor, Thomas, Bhatia, 28-1.
That's an awesome number. Because the biggest I see on him now is 33 is just a general outright.
Yeah.
That if you're going to lose 5 points and take out the 5 highest ranked guys in the field, the 28's a pretty good number.
And it's Connors. He's not a prolific winner. So when I was waiting a moment to like move back a little, this is what I've been like foaming to ask.
Where
you see other guys who like are chopping like so many more points. It's really funny. And we use our puzzle pieces, friends. We use even as like a square. You can be a square and still like have good intuition because you stare at these things every fucking Monday morning and you have like an idea of what it should be worth.
Is that
and that stood out to me as like, this seems like it's worth something.
Is that at FanDuel?
No.
Where's it at?
DraftKings.
That's at DraftKings. DraftKings has also been hanging in, I'll say it because I've been saying it on the live chat for every time that I've been doing it. No live chat this week, by the way. I mean, that's one of the shows I'm going to cancel during baby time. But the other ones are going to stick. The DraftKings, the Keith show, the Thursday show, that'll all be here for everyone. Smash a like and sub to the channel while you're here.
You and your wife, though. This is like after the Masters. You go on your seasonal vacation. You lose that. No? Yeah.
Yeah. That's not happening for me. I am going to play golf in May in Utah. So that will be because my wife.
I'm happy for you because, football is football. And then like by the time the Super Bowl's over, we start to have some big events and, Pat gets to take 10 days off after maybe there's still content, but I'm always happy for you to disappear. I'm not saying that to make you feel bad. Sorry.
No. I appreciate that reset. I'm looking forward to a reset. I usually do all the heritage content on Monday and Tuesday, and then I just go away for 10 days and just don't worry about the Zurich Classic, that kind of thing.
And you have content.
Oh yeah, the content's there. Yeah,
there's some fun things that have been canned.
Yeah, there will be fresh content.
Spoil anything,
but like I'm looking at 365 right now, the betting without Xander, Victor, and Fitz market. And in that market, there was 2 more names in your market. In this market, Connors is 20-1.
Yeah.
So your number is way better. Also on DraftKings, if you're betting first round leaders, go to the without market for whatever reason. I think it's a glitch in their system. So if anyone from DraftKings is watching, please don't adjust this at all. But you can get, like at the Players last week, you could get the without Scottie, Rory, and someone first round leader market. And the guys' numbers were actually better in that market than they were in the regular market with the guys. And that's happened a bunch of times this year.
Interesting. And you know, some of like the pros will say like, don't share that information.
Oh, fuck
you know what? I'd rather a small handful of listeners capitalize it than like that's what makes me happy.
Yeah, listen, we're not the pro sharks out here, but if I notice something, I'm going to tell you. It's just like when people got upset at me at Riviera when I shared all that whole 10 information. It's like, what do you think my job is? Like, you're doing your job. It's my job to present this information to people.
Our incentive structures are not aligned here.
Correct. So now I need to go back to the regular market and take a look at this stuff. I'm thinking about keeping this pretty normal for what I've been doing, because I was almost kicking myself when Fitz won and I didn't bet Fitz. But Thomas has my interest, and Spieth actually does have my interest this week. Obviously, he's won here in the past. He lost to Adam Schenk and Taylor Moore that other year, but he's here every single year, and his game it feels like it's more, I don't want to say close to elite. Like, people are talking about him winning the Masters. Like, let's pump the brakes on that. But here or Valero, I can feel it.
I totally agree. And I was just jiving in my seat because I've been seeing all the Masters stuff. And people like, I'm seeing people, I don't know what the number is now, but it must have gone down because he's had a few good weeks. And I saw someone like Vic lapping their 66-1 for Spieth at Augusta. And I was like, okay, man, like, yeah, you're 66-1. I don't care. That goes off at 40. Yeah, he doesn't do it for me, but I could totally see it. And you know what? Despite what like people, I actually am cheering for him now.
Well, yeah,
he is so like non-threatening to me that I enjoy him and I cheer for him and I want good things to happen for him because it's good for the sport. And I always like come mix. Like seeing him mix again against like a current high-end player, that'll be such a fun final few holes. I want it to happen.
Well, he is the king. We talked about the 2 separate tours, the signature events and the rest of them. Spieth could be king of the rest of them events.
Well, this is the problem. And not to go backwards, but this is what Mr. Roll-Up, I think, doesn't understand is like, trust me, we don't want live level lack of meritocracy, but like the PGA Tour, you know, like you had that great analogy a couple weeks ago, Pat, of, you know, when we were younger, you go to a wrestling show, a house show, they don't even exist anymore. And you would like get a piece of paper that said like the matches. And in the middle of the card be like, oh, they're the British Bulldogs here. Like he's not good anymore, but it's good to see him. The new commissioner doesn't realize the fine line. And just look at the TGL rosters as an example of like how fine the line is in this sport in a 2-year period, where like most of those rosters in their incarnation were like the players of the moment. And now like the Jupiter Lynx, like we're Tigers team, but like Max Homa was supposed to be their super elite.
Yes. And that just didn't, I mean, Max Homa's on the radar this week. Oh, bad news about the Valspar Championship. Did you see who withdrew?
Who?
Shooter Sean Yellamaraju.
I was, you know, we had God, okay, that makes sense. I spent our entire technical difficulties trying to find him and wondering why he disappeared. I could have just looked at Twitter. I'm sure Jared heard me mumbling, like, as he's trying to troubleshoot that I can't, like, find a guy and I don't know how to spell his name to search for him.
You just type in Old Yella and you're going to be good.
That's too bad. 80-1 seemed like a fun one.
I bet him. I bet him at Open early this morning. Oh, I hope they refund my money. I'm going to complain if they don't, Jeff.
Well, no, you will.
I know that they will.
Okay, a couple of things. So you wish he was playing. Maybe he made so much money last week. He but people are upset Ricky's not playing.
I don't recall Ricky ever playing this event.
But Ricky is in or isn't in the Masters?
Ricky is not in the Masters at the
See,
moment.
that's why people like, I guess he can make his own decisions. It's up to him.
He'll probably play both. He generally plays those Texas tournaments, so I would guess that he's going to be there. Like Fowler's 59th in the world. He needs like one really good finish at one of those events.
Okay. But yeah, no, I was about to bet that. I couldn't find it. That makes sense. I have made one bet though. I did make a bet last night.
Oh, what was the bet?
I bet Hitsetsune 55.
I got Hitsetsune as well. He popped up in the research show. I grabbed him at the 66 with the 3 places. He's down to 40-1 right now. I like him a lot here. I think he was T4.
I heard about the 66s. I missed them. Yeah.
He was T4 at this location a year ago. He plays positional golf courses really well. And if you squinted really hard at that leaderboard at the Players, you would have saw that he came T13 last week.
Sort of does what he, there's very few guys here that like, I felt like I needed to back. But that one was that's really the only bet in other than the Corey Connors without bet that I just made. Embarrassing, but yeah, I made it.
So Spieth and Brooks, shockingly, my 2 favorites from that top range.
Oh. Yeah, good. They're good. I hope they both play great.
Like more so than Cantlay or Ben Griffin the Brooks 30 is as a part of this range. So Spieth and Brooks for me there. We drop down to the next level. You said Hitsetsune. I'm on that as well. I'm thinking about betting Nikolai and Max Homa.
Where was Homa?
Did Homa WD too?
No, I see it.
Yeah, he's 66-1.
Yeah, I couldn't find him.
He was. Did you pay attention to any of Homa's round? Like entire tournament at the Players?
I didn't. I saw he made got some TV time.
Oh yeah, he's Max Homa. If he does anything positive, he's going to get some TV time. But when I ran a lot of the key stats this week, he was popping up. The driving's been a lot better, but he was chasing every birdie with a bogey last week. He made so many birdies. He may have led the field in birdies and bogeys somehow. But the form's been...
That's like a Højgaard level stat.
It is. Although Nikolai played one round, I think he had 1 birdie and 17 pars. What the hell is going on here?
So in this range,
because people were all about Theegala last week. Pendrith's in here. Pendrith ended up rallying to make the cut, but did nothing on the weekend. I think Bud Colley is interesting. People were in on Wyndham Clark a week ago. I also really like Austin Smotherman again at 75-1. Dude is driving it like a maniac, crisping his irons. You just need to luck into a good putting week.
That's who I was about to say. Not that I've made the bet, but just to be like, is that not feel like the fairest odd back here?
Well, he doesn't get...
And last time I said the fairest odd back here in Florida, we were just saying like Nico. Although it's different level fair. Nico had won and the field was so bad. But I was shocked to still see I could still get 70, 75 on him.
I think it's because he was 400-1 3 weeks ago. That a lot of people would look at it and say, well, I bet this guy at triple this number 2 weeks ago, and now I don't want to bet him at 75, but he just played so well, he should be this number.
Yeah, there's a few guys here like I could get suckered into. I don't know if I could trust, but like Alex Smalley.
Yeah, I'd rather bet Homa at a bigger number. I'd rather bet Smotherman at a bigger number.
I mean, I know everyone's wondering, like, say his name, Fienberg, say his name. But he's been playing so bad. And that's Davis Thompson.
Hey, Davis Thompson was T4 in Puerto Rico.
And I don't know whether, and now I feel like I'm mixing up McCarty and McGreevy.
Yeah, McGreevy started playing a little bit better, but both of them have kind of hit the skids a little bit. Do you know who rated out number 1 in the rabbit hole model that I built? He's in this range.
Greiserman?
It was Mac Meisner.
I'm always can be a sucker for that guy. Yeah.
But I don't feel like he's actually done anything good this year.
Seeing 90-1.
I mean, I don't know if that's like a great number or anything like that, but let's see. Cut, T18. He has one finish inside the top 40 this year. Just his stats are he can't putt anymore, which is kind of a problem if you're trying to win a tournament.
Yeah, no. Not going to fall for Taylor Moore, even though he had a great win here for me once.
Okay, well, I think Taylor Moore is really interesting because I've seen Taylor Moore pop up each of the past 3 weeks in Florida. Like, he made a run at Cognizant. He was in it for a little bit at Bay Hill, and hell, he was making a run at the Players until he absolutely hit the skids, and that was the end of him. But when you start seeing Taylor Moore on TV on a consistent basis, it's like, okay, there must be something to this. There's something about Florida that he can figure out, it seems.
Yeah, he gets around. He makes great par saves in Florida.
Well, you need that at this course. This is one of the hardest courses on tour.
Penrith 50 is big for me.
Like, big as in like it should be double that number?
Maybe, but I don't know. It's attracting my eyes. And like, I'll be a sucker. Like, I'm going to potentially look around some of these European tour guys. Wrighton, Penge, I saw a guy that I didn't really know who he was, play some clean golf lately, John Perry. Like, I'm like Tim with that guy.
Did you just a guy that you heard of and now he's your
guy? I
guy?
saw on TV like 2 weeks ago for the first time, and now maybe he'll win. Maybe I'll bet him to win.
John Perry was also, I think he was in the penultimate. He played with Ricky Castillo at the Puerto Rico Opens. He was in the second, he was in the final group at the Puerto Rico Open.
He didn't play horrible. He sort of caught my cognizant, lollygagging around there. And then I obviously noticed what he was up to at Puerto Rico. So that's sad. And I don't like, this isn't like a Neargard Peterson course, is it? Because if someone tells me it is, then I'll just bet him right now.
I think he was T10 last year at this course. He was also playing much better golf when he showed up to this course last year. He was fresh off competing at the Puerto Rico Open where he finished fourth. Let's see, Rasmus Neargard.
No interest in your Cootie, Pat?
I mean, Cootie's 83 at the Players on Friday was his Bam Adebayo tribute score. It was not good. They're like, guys lull, right? Like, throughout the course of the season, they go up, they go down, they have some waves. Cootie's feeling like he's a bit off of it right now. Maybe Florida golf's not his thing. We're going back to Texas. He's from Texas. Maybe the next 2 weeks are a little bit better for him.
I know JJ Spawn has been like horrendous. But
this should be a really good Spawn course based on what he does well.
That's sort of what I was going back to. The best I've seen for him is like 33-1 though.
Like, how was I saw he was playing in the group with Connors, I want to say.
Saturday with Connors. Sunday Connors was with JT.
I say Saturdays with Connors sounds like the world's worst hang. Yeah, Tuesdays with Maury and Saturdays with Connors. Yeah, Spawn was actually pretty good at the Players, honestly. It's the first time in a while. Is he just a big game hunter now? Only the big events get the juices going? He's like mini Brooks? Gained off the tee, 5 strokes on approach, gained some strokes putting, horrendous around the greens, but that seems like a bit of an outlier. I mean, I think you could do worse than JJ Spawn, honestly.
It's just an expensive price, but you could argue I should be looking at Spawn and not Connors.
I would rather have Spawn than Connors, but I think because it's me, I would probably just, after missing out on potentially Fitz last week, thank God he didn't win. But Nikolai is sitting right there, and I've been betting Nikolai every single week. You okay?
Yeah, I'm thinking like, I don't know. I don't want to trust. We're further down the board. I'm just debating. There's some guys that have a name with some big numbers, but like, I'd rather bet on someone actually playing decent.
Versus who? Nikolai, who's like first in this field?
No. I'm just talking about like, I crossed 100 in my here, and I'm just like,
So you started looking at the level that we're not at.
Yeah. Just the fat thumb like scrolled too far. That's all.
Okay.
I
got the.
There's guys I don't hate, but I'll like never trust them, and I don't want to bet on them to win.
Like who? Tell me.
Patrick Rogers.
Okay. Pass. Next.
He's not going to drive the ball. I mean, you mentioned him, Bud Cauley, not horrible, but I'm just not going to make that bet.
I bet him here last year. I think he was T4.
But like 85, 84 to 1, like pretty fair.
I think that is a fair odd on Bud Cauley. Now, of note, he's never won, but his tee to green game, it trended up with the players. It was good at API. It was pretty good at Pebble Beach. Like the putter hasn't really cooperated all that much for Bud Cauley, but I do prefer him at harder courses versus easier courses because he has such an elite around the green game.
And I know I mentioned John Perry, but in front of them was someone like I saw getting huge love in like the DK chatter boxes last week was Jordan Smith.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand that. I wasn't on Jordan Smith, so I
didn't. Off guard, but people who I trust would like post their models. I'd be like, whoa, Jordan Smith.
Yeah, Jordan Smith has two good. He was T27 at the American Express, T16, T23. He's got cut at the Players. Yeah, the tee to green and the ball striking had been there for him previous to last week, but it hasn't been as good since they got to Florida. Maybe he peaked a little bit early, getting his sea legs. Maybe he's someone to take later on down the line. He's just not for me. I'd probably rather roll the dice at 100 to 1 on Nearguard Peterson if I was going to do that, which I'm not going to do, but between the two, I'd rather go with him.
Between the two of them.
So from this range, Nikolai, Hitsatsune, Smotherman, and Homa would be my guys.
What was your Nikolai number?
I see 35 on Nikolai, but I would play him with those three places and juice up that number.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be two of those. It's Smotherman and Hitsatsune.
You can't get on Homa with me?
You haven't convinced. I'm not convinced.
Okay.
I'm not convinced. I don't. Yeah. It's a pretty strong number. I'm a loser. I'd bet like losers like Pendrith and Smalley.
Then Homa. I mean, maybe Homa's just living off of name value anyway, but I do see signs that his game is coming back. It just hasn't all happened at the same time for 4 rounds yet.
It's all happening. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not betting them to win. That's what the exercise. But at the same time, I'm having a real slog this week. I had like a lot more fun with the Cognizant card build than I'm having here.
Well, they're two entirely different types of courses, right? Where there's the volatility to Cognizant, where you do need to have, I mean, that's how we both ended up on Nico. Like, you need shot makers, guys that are going to attack pins, hit them, and make the putts. Here, you have to play a bit of defensive golf. This course is more difficult. Yeah, there's still water around, but it's not like you're just going to go make quadruple bogey on a hole and completely flip the tournament. You need to play more of a U.S. Open style game here.
Yeah, shoot like 3 under a day and like you could win it.
Oh, if you sign me up for 3 under a day at Copperhead, I would say you have a 70% chance of winning.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. So even like 2 under a day, I look at all these guys and I'm like, can you shoot 2 under a day for me with one of them being like 4 under? It doesn't seem like a big ask.
It's not. Like there are 2 long shots that I bet on one already, and the other one I was giving some credence to. So do you want to move to the 100 to 1 plus?
Yep.
You know who's 100 to 1?
Tom Kim?
Tony Finau.
Yeah.
He had some
Tom Kim, yeah.
He had some life last week.
And even I was going to ask about Sung Jae. JT's made this quick return. What did I don't even remember anything he did in the last 2 events.
Well, he was brutal at API, and he also missed the cut at the Players.
Yeah.
But like Hoey's here. Hoey led the Players for 2 rounds in birdies, rounds 1 and 2, and he's +2.
Yeah, but
he needs to chip and putt, and he can't do that.
Just all like, yeah, feels like that's a struggle bus. But he does play the type of golf that I get suckered into betting often.
like David Ford is up here. I was looking at total driving. That was one of the reasons that I kind of like Shooter Sean here, and I was going to bet him. Obviously, coming off a great performance before the WD at the Players, the 5th place finish. He's first in total driving in this field. It's just that alleviates so many problems here, that you're keeping the ball somewhat clean. You're not putting yourself into horrendous situations because you can get at a lot of the greens and hit those greens in regulation. Looking at total driving now, Michael Brennan is still number 1 in the field. David Ford, Celinda, Hoey, Pearson Coody, Thorbjorn Olesen, Kevin Roy, Johnny Kiefer, Heat Satsuni, your boy Davis Thompson. What the hell is Matt Fitzpatrick? What has Kevin Yu been up to? Nothing. Missing a lot of cuts, Kevin Yu.
What's Keegan been up to?
Well, as Dave OTs of this show may remember, Keegan Bradley developed the term full Keegan at this event in 2016.
This is where it was, eh?
So he was first round leader that year. He was also first round leader in 2021.
Yeah, don't hate that.
Like, on paper, this should be a really good Johnny Kiefer course, but guy can't chip or putt, so it's difficult to take him too seriously. It feels like a birdie fest is where he needs to go. Keegan ended up coming T50 at the Players. He made a run, I think, on Friday, and that was essentially all he did. He's been pretty bad. Cut, T50 in his past 3 starts. No finish inside the top 25 in 6 starts this season. Did the Ryder Cup break Keegan?
No, but it does seem like the end of Cognizant broke Shane Lowry, because he couldn't even do his anywhere close to his baseline floor to Shane Lowry in the last couple of weeks.
He played pretty baseline good at the Players. He just made that quad on 7. I think it was 17, and that just ejected him from the entire tournament.
Yeah, he was actually playing fine. Yeah, he was right. Not gonna win, but yeah. Okay, I was actually watching when that happened.
So Brennan is interesting for me, as he was always, because even at the Players, he ended up making the cut. He had an okay week. Just the driving kind of left him, which is the first time that it happened all year long. First major type event for him, although it's not a major, against a really stacked field. But every week, man, even at the first round of the Players, he led everyone off the tee. Just he's so good off the tee. It's such a weapon. I don't know if this is the type of course, or maybe this is exactly the type of course where someone at 100, very rarely can you bet someone at 140 to 1 and know that they're the best in the field at something. Because when Denny McCarthy was the best putter in the world by far, or Taylor Montgomery, their odds would be 45 to 1 in an event like this. But he's the best driver in the world right now, at least on tour, which is a repeatable skill week after week, yet he's still at triple digits.
So I was looking at that, and I was looking at Ford, and I just was wondering if that made me a sucker. So I'm happy to hear that you were sort of on that. And you know me, my mind will always find its way to Jesper.
Why? What is it with you? And could you pick him out of a lineup?
Yeah, he would look like a late 90s Detroit Red Wing. I pick him out. Yeah.
What are he was T8 in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, but apparently he hits it a mile, but for how far he hits it, he's way more accurate than you would think, I've been told.
Well, he's played 4 events this year. He's been cut in 4 of them and did well at a subfield event.
Listen, he's boomer bust, but I just said my eyes always go there.
He was his best run was T14 at the 3M, T16 at the Open last year. That was Jesper Svensson season. He's basically Adam Svensson at this point.
Hey, it depends who you ask. That's not that much of an insult. I see our boy Novak. We don't really pay attention to him, but he just hit that second page so often. Realizing I haven't seen him in a while. Yeah,
him and Michael Kim have both dropped down to this mid 150s range. The 2 guys that one guy that I did bet, and the number, I got him at 5. I ended up taking 10 places on him, so it did hurt his overall number a lot. But I thought a top 10. And this came from Larry. You know Tom and Marty's Larry, the king of Wendy's?
Yes, the king of Wendy's.
So he slid into my DMs this morning because he's an actual golf researcher now. Been following AJ Ewart closely. Started playing well until he shit the bed at the Players, which happens. Tracked down his college career that he had in Florida the best I could. Played Copperhead Classic twice in a college tourney, finished 7th and 6th, and you can bet him at 275 to 1 with 10 places if you'd like. Also, he will be boosted on Coolbet as low Canadian bet for me this week. So we were going to bet Shooter Sean, but now we're going to switch it to AJ Ewart.
There is a huge Canadian contingent this week.
Well, because Hadwin is back in the field because he is a former winner. Connors and Pendrith are playing. I think Mac is playing.
Taylor's like between Connors and Pendrith on the odds board. We didn't speak about him, but he's just, you don't bet Nick Taylor at 40 to 1.
No, none of the Canadians outside of the young guys are playing well.
Yeah, that's frustrating. Svensson's here.
Yeah, he's another one who's down there. So Ewart and Stephen Fisk were the two guys that I was looking at. So just in straight odds, 275 to 1 for Ewart. He's actually been beat down a little bit this morning. Stephen Fisk is 200 to 1 to win. He won at Sanderson Farms. It's been a good crossover for the jabroni tier of player, like tournaments that have shown a lot of success between the two would be Country Club of Jackson and Valspar. Why? I have no idea, but he won there.
Fisk can roll it beauty.
You mean for what? What do you mean by that?
Who's the other guy with the Mizuno hat? I feel like I'm mixing him up with someone.
I'm not sure. I thought you meant in his putting stroke, and obviously Stephen Fisk is like a Luke List comp for putting.
Nope. It is Stephen Fisk, though, in the Mizuno hat.
He wears a Mizuno hat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've bet Stephen Fisk at some like jabroni events, just banking on the ball striking. Praying he can roll it good.
He hasn't. I mean, I probably won't end up betting him just because he's been absolute garbage since he won at the Sanderson Farms. But probably as a DraftKings type play, someone who's really low down on the board. It's probably just going to be Ewart for me, honestly. Like I don't see anyone else outside of like the general losers that I like betting. Like Baushu is in there, Marty Dew is in there, Chandler Blanchet reopens at 200 to 1, but I'll probably end up passing on him. Just no one's really doing it for me down here. Kevin Roy, maybe.
Well, guys who played decent guys who played decent in Puerto Rico and then showed up here and played decent. I see like Matty Schmid 120, but this doesn't feel like a course that would suit him at all.
He enjoys a good Pete Dye course. That's more of his jam. Kevin Roy passed 3 starts, T13 in Phoenix, T23 at the COG, and then he did make the cut last week, became T59, which was better than Finau, who was running away with it early. And he was T13 at Sony as well. So he's around. I don't know if I'm going to get there as a bet, maybe as a first-round leader type play, but just he was another name that I had interest in. You know what? It'll be Michael Brennan. I've been riding the Brennan train. Why not? Just continue to bet Michael Brennan. Me and Sky will bet Brennan every week.
Listen, I'm curious. Sky, I wonder who, like, which veteran Sky's going to bet by the time he's got done betting his kids this week.
See, Joe Highsmith is here. Malnati at 400 to 1. Get all your money. Get all your Malnati money back.
So Willett is here.
Oh, God. Willett is here, isn't he? I like how Nick Dunlap went from 30 to 1 to 700 to 1 to 100 to 1 back to 600 to 1 now.
Pontus Nyholm.
That guy's my mortal enemy, the Swedish dentist.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe some of these guys at the crazy back can have some life, but I'll be out of money.
Yeah, I probably just don't need to go down this far, especially with some of the guys that I've kind of got around. Like, even someone like Matt Wallace initially had my interest because I like him at this style of course, but he's just been garbage so far this year. So let's get to the quick pick.
I feel like we'd come here and like everyone back in the day, like 2017, on like a tip chart, it'd be like Henrik Stenson at 22 to 1 or something.
Stenson, Donald. I feel like
just
you've
like
had some
those keep it clean Euros who can like make those clutch par saves.
But Stenson never won here either.
No, he didn't. I think he got diarrhea here as like a favorite.
Oh, yeah, because this used to be before the Players. I think this was the week after Mexico. He went to Mexico, and then he came and had to WD because he had the shits.
Something, yeah. There was something as, in those white pants. He was like, I'm not risking it.
Quick picks for the Valspar Championship then. I'm going to bet Spieth, Brooks, Nico, and Hitsetsune, along with Homa, Smotherman. My two long shots are going to be Steven Fisk and AJ Ewart. At coolbet.com right now, I have them Brooks boosted up to 32-1. So if you're in Canada, outside of Ontario, and want the fastest payouts in the biz and the best number on Brooks right now, go to Coolbet, hit the description, get your bonus, go bet on Brooks, and I'm getting them to boost up AJ Ewart as top Canadian as well.
So the bets that I have made are, we have bet Ryu, Hitsetsune, and Smotherman. Those both seem fair to me. And I've bet on DK Connors in the without market.
I'm telling you.
That's what I'm sitting on. Swimming around, I don't know, typical losers. Alex Smalley, Greiserman. And then you could expect me to like tickle the sack of some like random, I don't want to call them random, but like from the Europeans.
Jesper Svensson, Rasmus Niergaard Peterson, John Perry, they'll all be on the card.
Right. And yeah, you guys know me well. Even I could bet Penge for cheap better than his Masters number.
Penge, wait for Houston. Wait for next week for Marco Penge.
Okay, I wish I could bet it early, but I'm just saying right now we can bet him more than his Masters number.
They're not giving. This is so sad. I went to go play top Canadian. Just they don't have a market for it right now. Nowhere.
They had to shut it down after Shooter
right.
Shannon.
That's probably actually, they have everything up here for every like, Scandinavian, Argentinian, top Asian, Australian, just no Canadian.
It actually sucks for the books because they would have realistically, just based on myself and Golf Twitter, they were already taking money.
Oh yeah,
like they should have been happy. You guys want to bet Shooter Shan at 80-1? Like, please have him.
He's in the column for me this week. Don't bet him now, but
top Canadian. He would have been 80-1. He would like the corollary would have been right. There've been 3 or 4 guys ahead of him. The books are not happy he withdrew.
Unless he
great
won.
Players. Oh my god, we were all suckers.
Oh, of course. He probably saved us some money here. He probably knew. He's like, you know what? Everyone's going to bet me. I'm not feeling it this week. I'm going to WD.
And how do you go from being liked to being disliked quickly? Being a guy no one's ever heard of play great, then being chalk and letting them down.
Or WDing after a hole. One and done picks for the week. I believe you beat me at I don't even know who I used. I probably used Seawolf.
I had Henley.
You had Henley? That probably won the week. I should probably check in on what's going on in our tournament. Let's see if someone made us an app at T-Connect. It seems like you're winning. Who did Jeff take? Jeff at the Players took Russell Henley. Well, who did Pat take? I want to find out who Pat took. I took Morikawa. Oh, sweet. Oh, that's no good. So it's your pick. You won. Morikawa had $0. And Cust already took Cantlay, so you can't take him.
I'll never pick him again. Let's do it. I'll root him on. Jordan Spieth.
That's who I was going to pick. Have I taken Brooks yet? Oh, where the hell is that thing that I just opened? Have I taken Brooks? No, I'll take Brooks as my one and done. So Brooks for me, Spieth for you, Cantlay for Mr. Cust, who I do have 2 bank shows with. People are, I think, clamoring for some Judge Cust and some Cust Corner, full-length episodes. I actually really enjoyed our Judge Cust that we did.
People love it.
Do you even remember what we talked about?
A couple things, but we've done a few of them where they blur together, but I think I do remember. I don't know. I know. It was a while ago.
All right. That'll do it for us.
I feel like I wanted to comment on it recently, though, and realized it wasn't even released yet.
Yeah,
so I knew.
Well, I have a Thursday episode this week pre-taped from last week, and I have those too. So the next 3 weeks, I'll have like some comfort zone to do the golf and then spend time at home with the baby. It's kind of the midway point of, I'll work at a 75% schedule instead of just not working.
People just want the Cust goods, and you've got the McCanns. So as long as they get that, I think you won't hear anything about it.
Well, thanks to everyone who reached out to me and wished me and my family goodwill, because it's been going so well. So that was very nice of everyone. I want to thank you for that. I want to remind you to smash like and sub to the channel while you're here. This is part 2 of the 2-part Players Recap and Valspar on the audio version. So if you missed part 1, I suggest you go listen to it. Good stuff in there. Geoff was more vibrant in the first half of the show. It feels like you lost some steam here.
Yeah, it's vibrant. Listen, I'm dealing with a lot. The kids are home. It's March break. There's a lot going on here. And yeah, just like a golfer gets, so they don't come out of the rain delay as well as they were before. I think we got the tug difficulty, and I came out stalled, I guess. Stuck in neutral. I mean it though. I don't know what to do with this betting board, which maybe made me less effective in a betting show. I'm really stumped.
I dropped my kids off at March break camp today. One of them is going to sports camp at the university, and the other one is going to theater camp at the theater. And to see, because you have the camp counselors, you have the kids. Totally two separate set of kids who are working as counselors at these 2 places, Geoff. That would shock you.
That's that's life. It's okay. That's good. That's good. There's a counselor for all.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they're having a good time at this camp. I'll wrap it up because I got to go pick them up. Apparently, my wife is unavailable to do this. Who knew?
Slacker.
Yeah. All right, that'll do it for us. Thank you all for watching. Hope you tailed Geoff at the Players and won some big-time Cam Young monies. If you did, you can reinvest on some of the boosted plays up at CoolBet right now, or just join that bracket up on Underdog, the PME one. It's in the description of this video and podcast if you want to go join that with me. All right? Thanks for watching. I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.
Mayo Experience! Experience!